Hello and welcome to episode 35 of Chicago Business Podcast, where we introduce leading executives in the area and learn how they are bringing innovation to their industries. I am your host, Drew Sekula, and today we welcome Neil DeGuia, Complex General Manager with Aimbridge Hospitality, where he's currently leading the launch of a large-scale hotel development for Hilton brands, including Canopy Chicago Central Loop and Hilton Garden Inn Chicago Central Loop. Hello, Neil. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, Drew. It's a pleasure being here. I appreciate you having me on the show. I look forward to chatting with you.
Yeah, great to have you on, and excited to have you here. So very good, very good. You have your beverage of the day there, I think, to get the ice broken.
Yeah, so I've got an iced coffee from Starbucks, black, and then I also have a Life Water, which both have been a lifeline of mine for this opening. So cheers to you, and cheers to this podcast. Cheers to our hotels.
Cheers. I got a coffee to match you, so cheers.
Right. Now, if this show was recorded at 6 p.m., I imagine our beverages would look different.
That's right. We're doing a morning show today, so
I gotcha.
Cool. Very good. Well, why don't we start by you telling us a little bit about Aimbridge Hospitality first?
Okay, well, I love it. So Aimbridge Hospitality is a third-party hotel management company. We happen to be the largest third-party hotel management company in the world, overseeing and managing 1,500 plus hotels. When I started with Aimbridge Hospitality, which was 18 years ago, we started with 8 hotels. So in 2003, we had a handful of, actually one hotel in the Chicagoland area, and then 7 others throughout the country. And every year that Aimbridge was a company, we just continued to grow and grow and grow. So needless to say, it's been a crazy ride in 18 years. So as I mentioned, we're at 1,500 plus hotels, managing several brands, really the big brands, Marriott, Hilton, Hyatt, IHG, a bunch of independent brands, you name it, we manage it. So we have just recently acquired Interstate Hotels about just short of a couple years ago. That really has grown our portfolio. We've also expanded in Europe and in Mexico just recently. So the company continues to grow and really means more opportunity for our associates and anyone that wants to join the hospitality industry.
Great. That sounds like an exciting place to be. For those who are not as familiar with kind of how the hotel business is set up, can you just do a quick overview of talking about the investors, the management companies, and the brands, and how those all fit together?
Absolutely. So I tell friends that so there's kind of 3 pieces in my eyes. So you have an owner, you have a franchise, and then you've got us who are the managers and operators of the property. And not every hotel looks this way, but when it comes to us and how we typically look is that, so you have an owner who selects the franchise, whether it be Hilton, Hyatt, IHG, Marriott, you name it. They get with the franchise, they select the brand. So in our case, it's the Canopy and Hilton Garden Inn. And then the owners would typically hire a third-party management company or the brand to manage the property. So to me, it's 3 pieces to really make this world go around. Again, it's the franchise, the owner, and the management company.
Right.
And typically, the management company will identify the talent, the general manager, and then the general manager would be responsible then for hiring the rest of the associates, the management team, and the rest of the staffing.
So it sounds like you guys have to do most of the work involved then.
Well, all I'll say is that it's a team effort. Everyone has a job to do. But, when we all come together, we create this great experience for guests, a great operation building for guests to enjoy. So I look at it as a collaborative effort.
Right. So who manages the development? So you guys are at 226 West Jackson is where you're doing this, your recent development that we're going to be talking about today, right?
Yeah, so we're at 226 West Jackson. That's the Canopy Brand Hotel, and then 245 South Franklin, which is the Hilton Garden Inn. And the way I like to describe it is we have two hotels, one historic building in a landmark destination. And so this project was created and developed by Phoenix Development Partners, which is our ownership group. And so they've been talking about this project for many years now. And so as we're getting closer and closer to opening up this property, it just makes this experience so much more exciting. Obviously for them who have envisioned this this hotel coming up for many years. Yeah, we're just getting closer and closer to opening, and it's looking more and more like a hotel each and every day that goes by.
Yeah, what does your timeline look like then? Are they scheduled to open at the same time or staggered approaches, or how are you doing?
Yeah, that's a good question, Drew. In fact, so in the beginning, the goal was to open simultaneously, but then things have changed, going back and forth. But right now, we're planning on opening up the Hilton Garden Inn in the next few weeks. And then Canopy is probably going to be more early October, maybe mid-October. So we're just working on the furniture and the fixtures and install of all that stuff on the Canopy floors. But all of that has been completed on the Hilton Garden side. And so I think here within a few weeks here, the Hilton Garden Chicago Central Loop Hotel will be open for business.
That's great. That's great. I'm sure you're going through some significant challenges getting ramped up from a staffing perspective. What does that look like for you guys, and how does that work at the beginning?
Well, so in the beginning, I was part of this project at the end of January, and I'm not going to lie to you, that was definitely on the forefront of my mind, just thinking about staffing. And flash forward to now, Drew. I feel like we've been incredibly blessed with referrals and people that were maybe out of the business that wanted to come back to the business. And we did some recruiting outside and getting out there, posting ads on Facebook, posting ads on different periodicals to get the word out that we're hiring. And honestly, I'm so excited to say that we are close to fully staffed right now, which I know a lot of hotels are struggling to find bodies and associates for their properties, but I'm really excited and proud to say that we're close to fully staffed.
That's great. That's great and impressive in this environment.
Yeah, and that's only the Hilton Garden, mind you. So we're gonna have to do it again when we get closer and closer to opening up the Canopy. Which happens to be a challenge, but it's a challenge we're up for.
Right. How far in advance do you bring people on before you actually open the location? You gotta get people, I guess, trained up and ready to go, but there's not a whole lot for them to do at the start, right?
Well, yeah. So that's a great question. Management staff, we typically, in openings, we would bring, depending on the department, anywhere from 1 to 3 months would be the window in that we would onboard a manager. And then when it comes to, certain associates, again, depending on what department, we're looking anywhere from 2 to 3 weeks before we open up our doors. That'll include kind of the setup of the department, whether it be, so the front desk, they want to set up their work areas, computers, supplies. And then on top of that, there's a week plus of training that is required of the brand and required of Aimbridge. So, we're looking at that 2-3 week time frame where we're extremely busy, just trying to get the hotel set up, trying to get the team trained and educated on not only our building, the operations, the standards, but also just creating every little detail that is required of an operation. So for an example is a package log. When guests come deliver packages to a hotel, we don't have that. So how do we get that going? What do we have a shelf to create? Do we have a log to create? Those types of things. So something just as little as that and many things in between are things that we're working through and working at before the day we open our doors.
Right. So have you opened a new facility before? I know you've been in the business a long time and managed several properties, but is this a new for you? Is this new for you as well?
No, so I opened up a hotel in 2009. It was my first opening at the Aloft in Houston, the Galleria area. I made one move out of Chicago one time, and that was it. And no offense to Houston, but and I love golfing in January and February, but it was way too hot for me in the summer. So I did request for a transfer from Aimbridge to come back home to Chicago, and that was my last opening in 2009.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good segue. So let's talk about your roots to Chicago then.
Sure.
So you were born and raised around here, it sounds like?
I was born and raised in Schaumburg, Illinois,
Nice.
where at one point the Woodfield Mall was the biggest mall in the country, and it's not anymore.
It's still nice though. That's a good spot.
Yeah, so born and raised in Schaumburg, lived out there throughout high school, end up making a move downtown Chicago at the age of 20, lived in the city for about 13 years. And yeah, that brief stint in Houston was in there in 2009. But most recently out in Arlington Heights, have lived in Arlington Heights for about 6 years now. Needed more space, and great neighborhood with good schools, and yeah, we have a lot of friends and family in the area. So been out there for, again, 6 years, and it's been a great experience.
That's great. And it sounds like you've been in the hotel business for pretty much your whole career then.
Yeah, so I got my start pretty early on. I've been in the business for 21 years. This hotel is now my ninth hotel, and many of those hotels were with Aimbridge. I've worked anywhere from a select service property to a full service property, boutique property. And so it's been an exciting ride in the 21 years. And it really has led me up to this experience, which I can't stop talking about and thinking about.
Right. Yeah, no, that's got your hands full there, and it's definitely an exciting time to be in your shoes, I'm sure, with everything just about ready to go. Huh?
Yeah, I mean, each and every day, and each and every week that goes by, I tell friends and family that it's looking more and more like a hotel. And as you can see behind me, I'm in a guest room at the Hilton Garden Inn. We're just finishing up making beds. We've got cable coming in this week. So a lot of the guest amenities and the things that a guest would expect here at a property are really coming to life here at the hotel. So it's really exciting to see. We're just finishing up both of our fitness centers. Each hotel will have its separate fitness center. The Hilton Garden Inn has life fitness equipment, and the Canopy side has techno gym equipment. Yeah, I can't stop smiling and really excited to announce that we're getting closer and closer to open.
Yeah. So from an innovation perspective, I think that one of the things I guess Hilton is doing is really expanding, and it's really across the industry, the different brands. But for those like me who aren't as familiar with Canopy Brand, why don't you give us a little overview of that?
So the Canopy Brand is Hilton's upscale luxury boutique brand that really invites and welcomes the city that it resides in into its property. It definitely injects the neighborhood feel. We are blessed to be located in arguably the greatest city in the world. And so what we aim to accomplish is that, whether you're a business traveler or a leisure traveler, family, or whatever your purpose is, coming into our property, we want to make sure that you experience Chicago fully, 100%. So whether it be, again, depending on your trip or however many nights, we're going to make sure you're eating Chicago food, you're feeling Chicago music, arts, everything that the city has to offer, we're going to help you experience that 110%. So that is what the Canopy brand strives to do. And then on the Hilton Garden side, we're an upscale select service property. In fact, I think that this Hilton Garden Inn is one of the nicest Hilton Garden Inns that I've ever seen. And again, I've been in the industry a long time. And so the fact that it's actually a new build is fantastic, but just the furnitures and the fixtures and all the things that we've implemented at this property are really top notch. And I think that the guests are going to see that and really enjoy their experience at either properties.
Nice. What kind of innovation is brought to like a new hotel, and how is it different from what you get with something that's not a new build?
Well, so that's a good question. So the Hilton brand many years ago had implemented digital key. To me, that is a game changer in terms of having the guest experience like having a key on their phone wasn't anything that we had available 10 plus years ago or even had a thought. So that technology has really been flushed out, and the brand has done a great job at implementing digital key. The next thing would be connected room with the Hilton brand, which allows guests to, control the room temperature, the lighting, the television for some hotels just in the palm of their hand. So it's those types of innovations and technology that that we were not so accustomed to or used to, again, 10 plus years ago, but now they're really starting to become a reality and really just make it more convenient for the guests and the experience for them.
Right.
So those are two big ones. From the back of house perspective, I mean, there's a lot of environmental efficiencies that we've implemented, whether it be, occupancy sensors, those types of things, kind of the water savings in the way of the efficient toilets that we're implementing and installing, the lighting that we're installing. So when it comes to new builds, there's definitely some things that we keep in mind, and environmental innovation, those types of things are in the forefront.
Mm-hmm. How do you manage the rates that are charged?
So, so managing the rates that we charge, we clearly have competitors in the area, and each hotel actually has a set that we take a look at, but also just understanding the market and what the market will dictate in terms of pricing. So, for example, if there's a convention in town, whether it be big citywide convention at McCormick Place or the Chicago Marathon that's coming in October, we could typically forecast demand and what those types of events bring, and really price ourselves at a good price point where the market can handle. So there tends to be a little bit of tweaking of things, but again, the knowledge of the market and really understanding what our competitors are selling at for like hotels, but also understanding the types of business that are coming through the city allows us to make sound decisions and sound rate decisions to put out there for our guests. But every hotel is different. I think every hotel needs to grade themselves as to how high they can charge, or where they want to be, just depending on their services and depending on their location. Every brand and every hotel is very unique, and so there is no like one answer as to how to determine rates. But I would say that those few things, whether again understanding the market, the time period, the competitors, your brand, what you have to offer, when you have to offer it, those types of things definitely come into play in determining rate.
Right. And then occupancy, I would expect as well. How long do you expect it's going to take to kind of get up to full occupancy? Or does that happen real quick in the case of the
Well, that's a very good question. So, as I mentioned, like marathon. Marathon's in October, so the Hilton Garden Inn should be open by then, and we anticipate it to be a strong weekend. And so, not sure if we'll be able, because right now we are open to sell, and our goal is to sell out always. But it also just depends on how much the market's going to fill in this area during that time. Historically, the Chicago Marathon has sold out several hotels in the Chicago area, but obviously with COVID and certain restrictions and people not traveling as much, it really has changed our the hotel business's occupancies and rates. But I anticipate Chicago Marathon being our busiest weekend. Well, the first busiest weekend for the property. Obviously, the goal is to sell out. Now, if we get there or not, we'll just have to wait and see.
Right. Were the plans for the hotels delayed at all because of COVID, or what were the impacts of COVID over as we've gotten to this point?
Well, there have been a number of things. So I was part of the project at the end of January, but this, to my understanding, this is a historic building, and with historic buildings, there might have been some unforeseen challenges that needed to be addressed construction-wise. So there have been a couple of those things. There have been some delayed in delivery of furnitures, fixtures, and equipment due to longer lead times. Due to COVID, getting shipments here to this area has been extremely challenging. Obviously, during COVID, it's we were not in a unique position in terms of those types of things. But also, just we're experiencing it now with certain things that go in a guest room. We're lucky enough to be able to get all the things that we need and are required in a room. But it definitely has been longer lead times to receive linen, pillows, pillowcases, those types of things that have been a challenge. But the opening date has changed a couple of times, and I think that primarily due to some construction things and some delivery of some furniture. But again, I keep talking about how excited I am because again, I think opening is just around the corner, and so we're just focusing on getting it ready each and every day.
Yeah, I don't think those challenges are really so unique to you guys. Obviously, it's been across the board, and I can imagine that it's been probably pretty frustrating to try to get all those ducks in order, and things outside of your control is always difficult to deal with. But I can see why you're so excited at this point.
Well, Drew, I tell the team this every day. We will not get frustrated at things that we can't control. There's a lot that goes into opening up a property, and 2 properties, no less. And so there comes a lot of communication, coordination. But I think what's important is that I think you heard me say this a couple times, but we operate in each day, each week, each month. We set goals for ourselves, and sometimes we have to adapt. We have to change the plan, and that needs to be embraced, and that needs to be okay. And so we've done just that, and so far so good. Because we can't control when things arrive to the property and when things get approved or whatnot. But all we know is that whatever we can control, we're going to definitely control that and do the best we can with what we have.
Right. So that's great. I think that the next obviously couple months are going to be kind of crazy for you, but once you actually have the doors open, things kind of settle down, right? I guess maybe not the first couple of weeks, but you're going to have a little time on your hands after that.
Well, I don't know about that, but definitely the days will look a little different, the day-to-days. But Right now, we're just trying to onboard our staff through the Hilton Garden Inn side. As I mentioned, we're closer to opening than not. And so we've got a staff of 30 now. And so right now, each department is really preparing for, when we do open our doors. So our F&B team's ready to start placing orders for food and beverage. We're putting out schedules into testing the food, creating and making sure that the presentation to our guests is A plus. Our sales department is actively selling the property for now and for future months. So a lot going on here at the property. And as you can see, like I said earlier, we're starting to make up beds to kind of put those final touches here on the rooms. And in a short few weeks, we'll be ready to open our doors for our guests.
Yep. So it seems like Aimbridge does move people around a fair amount, though. So how long do you'll probably be there for a couple of years and then maybe on to the next one? Or
Gosh, Drew, if you were to, if this was pre-COVID and you asked me a few years ago, I'd probably say, yeah, that's probably, something. But to be honest with you, right now, I can clearly tell you that this job is my dream job. Again, growing up from Schaumburg, Illinois, from this area, across the Willis Tower, and amongst all these beautiful buildings, restaurants, architecture, and all the museums, just you name it. This is where I thought I would end, and this would be the end of my career now. I actually still have a little more to go. So perhaps after we successfully get these hotels going, get them up and running, and that the ownership feel comfortable of me maybe moving on, then we can explore that option. But right now, I'm so focused in on every day, every week, every month, and every year to make these two hotels one of the best hotels in the Chicago area.
Nice. Well, it sounds like
worrying about my next move. Typically, I usually have that. I'm usually thinking way ahead. And for some reason, this hotel has me just not thinking about anything but this hotel.
Yeah, well, I get that now, certainly. I just noticed from peeking at your LinkedIn that it looked like, they don't keep you in any single place for too long.
Well, I think part of that, for at least for me, is just gaining the knowledge of each and every brand and each and every hotel that I work at. Each and every hotel that I've worked at has been extremely unique in terms of like the employees that work there, the location, the brand. And I feel that every time I walk into a new hotel, I'm starting new. Like I'm a rookie of the business, and I'm just trying to take my skills and take all the things that I learned at the previous property and make the best experience out of this hotel that I'm coming into. Whether it be the service aspect, cleanliness, the F&B operation, the sales effort, you name it. I'm just trying to take what I know and really help the properties out, no matter where or how long I'm there. That's always the goal.
Are there any good professional organizations in the area that you're a part of that you find time to enjoy?
Well, you know what? That's funny that you asked that, because I have a lot of aspirations of joining, a bunch of groups. So yeah, if you're on my LinkedIn profile, you'll notice that this is my first downtown Chicago hotel in quite some time. And so I've been out of the Chicago area hotels for a very long time. And so my goal is to, once I get these hotels open up, make sure that I'm highly involved in the community, the neighborhoods, and different associations. I feel like it's always been a passion of mine to be involved in those types of things, and so more to come on that.
Very good. Well, for people who are interested in learning more, where's the best place to look?
So if they go to chicagocentralloop.hgi.com or chicagocentralloop.canopy by Hilton hgigroup.com. You will find both our properties. Otherwise, if you're on Instagram, you can find us at HGI or HGI Shy Loop for the HGI, the Hilton Garden Inn. And then for the Canopy, you can find us at Canopy Shy Loop on Instagram. So please, come visit us on those sites and Instagram. We're posting several pictures of updates. We're posting pictures of just progress at the property. So I hope that you can connect with us, Drew, to see our progress.
Yeah, I'd love to check it out. And I just saw some of those photos. Looks like, well, obviously you guys are coming along great, and the buildings look fantastic. So best of luck to you, and enjoy these next couple of months, and then knock them dead. Okay.
Sounds good, Drew. Well, I expect you to come visit. I'm going to send an invite to you, hopefully in the next month or so, and would love to have you come see the property.
Sounds good. I'll be down there a little bit. It looks like coming up. So love to stop by.
Well, you know where to call me.
Okay, sounds good.
Take care, Drew.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.